Grant and gang, Miss McNichol here. Here's a little something that you can all join in with. It's very easy. There's Mr. Wiggle and there's Mrs. Waggle. Wiggle and Waggle. Well, Mr. Wiggle, he lived on top of a little hill over here. He lived in a little house. Let's open the door, pop him in, and shut the door, pop. Try that again. Open the door, pop him out, shut the door, pop. Open the door, pop him in, and shut the door, pop. Mrs. Waggle, she lived in a little house over here, on top of a hill. Open the door, pop her in, shut the door, pop. There was Wiggle and Waggle. One day, Mr. Wiggle thought to himself, oh, I would love to hear a story. So, he decided to visit Mrs. Waggle, and he opened the door and popped out, and he shut the door, pop, and he went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, all the way to Waggle's house. He knocked on the door, knock, 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 knock. Nobody home. Oh well, no stories today. So he went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, all the way home. Then he opened the door and he popped in and he shut the door, pop. The next day, Mrs. Waggle was in her house and she decided to visit Mr. Wiggle. So are you ready? She opened the door and popped out, and she shut the door, pop. And she went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, all the way to Wiggle's house. She knocked on the door. Knock, 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 knock. Nobody home. So, no stories today. Well, she went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, and all the way home. Then she opened the door and she popped in and she shut the door, pop. But the very next day, at the very same time, at the very same moment, both Wiggle and Waggle, they went to visit each other. You ready? So, they opened the doors and popped out. They shut the doors, pop, and they went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill. And they met right in the middle. Hello, Mrs. Waggle, said Mr. Wiggle. Hello, Mr. Wiggle, said Mrs. Waggle. How are you today? Oh, I'm very well, thank you. So, now that Mr. Wiggle and Mrs. Waggle have met each other, well, they could have a little adventure. They could tell each other stories like, well, Mrs. Wiggle, guess what I got up to last week? Oh, I don't know. Can you tell me? Well, I was out for a walk, and you know what? I found an egg. An egg? What kind of egg? Well, it was big, and it was green, and I took it home, and I made up a little basket of straw. And then I set it next to the stove where it was nice and warm. And do you know what? What? The very next day, what? Guess what hatched out? A chicken? No! A dragon! A dragon! What happened next? Well, you could have a think about what happened next when Mr. Wiggle's dragon hatched. Or Mrs. Waggle might say, well, Mr. Wiggle, you'll never guess what happened to me the other day. Well, I don't know, said Mr. Wiggle. Well, I was walking down the street when I saw an umbrella lying on the pavement. And what did you do? Well, I picked it up. And what happened next? Well, just at that moment, a great big gust of wind went whoosh and blew me right up in the air. Whee! Where did you end up? Well, you could have a think about where Mrs. Waggle ended up after the gust of wind took her umbrella up in the sky. You can make up all kinds of adventures for Mr. Wiggle and Mrs. Waggle, and they can tell each other. Well, time for them to go. Bye-bye, Mrs. Waggle. Bye-bye, Mr. Wiggle. And they went down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and up the hill, all the way home. Opened the doors, popped in, and shut the doors, pop. Grant and gang, have fun with Wiggle and Waggle. I'll see you soon. Bye!